Hello, Samson here. So this week's book selection segment had to do a lot with Don Miguel Ruiz. A lot of you have read The Four Agreements by him. I have read The Four Agreements. I've also done Mastery of Self, Mastery of Love, yet to do the fifth agreement. And today's book review focusing around the three questions is what we're like literally going to delve into. So it brings about a lot of insights. The three simple questions, yet profound and so deep that a lot of religions, a lot of spiritual teachings have tried to discuss some of them. And yeah, the conclusion to everything that comes with it has to largely do with your enlightenment as a person. Basically, diving right into the three questions, Don, Don Miguel literally focuses on the fact that there is need for you to have an enlightenment of self if you're going to relate very well with people, if you're going to build lasting and good relationships with everyone maybe you come across. So the first question has to do with who am I? Um, what he brings out from the question, who am I, is you only know who you are when you see what you're not. So the perception of seeing what you are not is what gives you the drive to understand who you really are. He argues that you are not your thoughts to start with, you are not your job, you are not your past, you're not any other role that might be there, because for the most part, we are focusing on a constant basis on me and me and me, which isn't bad when you look at it, but when you need to understand who you really are, then you get to be drawn back to literally the things that have added on to you becoming what you are. And he argues there is a metaphor of the government that he uses in the book where he looks at a person as a government and the mind literally, because we are controlled by it for the most part. And it deals with the first thing, that is the legislative part of the mind, the judicial part of the mind, and the executive side of the mind. So the legislative side is the side that makes laws. So these are the laws that you self-impose, that you make, maybe that you've had growing up, understanding and believing that if I do A, B, C, D, these are the consequences and results that I'm going to get from them. So the legislative side makes laws, and then the judicial side has to bring about punishments for not obeying the laws. So all of this, remember, is happening in the mind, because that is what controls us for the most part. And then the executive side of it has to do with implementing everything that has been legislated, and then what is being implemented by the judicial side of it. So you are not your thoughts, and that is something to remember. The takeaway, however, from understanding who you are is looking into the reality that life is energy. You want to understand more about the energy that comes with life, you might as well do well to read the book. The second question that he's tackling is, what is real? The reality of life itself is something that is different for each and every individual. So when you look at the reality that I'm living, the reality that you're living, all of these are actually segmented into your mind, coming from what you perceive in the mind. However, the thin line between what is real and what is not real, Miguel argues to say that you only know what is real when you accept that which is not real. We've been programmed to live either in the past or in the future, and we most of the times and in the present ignore what we're doing in the moment. And the takeaway here really is that we need to really be so cautious and aware of us living in the now, instead of focusing so much on maybe what happened in the past or what is going to happen in the future, and just take time to be able to live in the present. And that awakening is what is really going to help you to actualize even certain things that needed to be actualized in the now. And then the last question is, what is love? So the question of love borders around a lot of different spectrum. So you only get to know what love is when you realize what love is not. We've grown up and have been domesticated. There is the principle of domestication in the book where he talks about the fact that there is conditional love that is there. When growing up, you are taught that when you do A, B, C, D, I will love you. When you wash the dishes, maybe your mother is going to be proud of you, and we termed that as love. But true love is something that is unconditional. And by the way, love isn't an emotion, it is a decision in the choice that you make that you're going to carry on with you. So if life is energy, then love is energy that comes with life itself. Therefore, the book urges that if we're to relate well with different people we meet in different settings, there is a need for us to have unconditional love for them. So this is Don Miguel Ruiz, the 3 questions for you to have an understanding wholly on some of the hidden gems in the book. This is just an overview. You might want to read the book. So till we meet in the next segment, I am checking out.